Prepare to step into a world where imagination knows no bounds as we present Legends, Loot, and Lore. Join host, DM, and self-confessed Dice Goblin Andrew, who will guide you every step of the way into the realm of Dungeons & Dragons. From actual gameplay and cooking up delicious D&D foods to interviews with other D&D fans and newbies, this podcast is your gateway to becoming the hero of your own story. Whether you're a new adventurer or a seasoned traveler seeking new insights, Legends, Loot, and Lore has something for everyone. After the episode, visit our website at www.legendslootandlore.com for even more resources and exclusive content. And if you're as passionate about this adventure as we are, help support our quest at legendslootandlore.supercast.com. Embark on this odyssey with us and let the echoes of ancient tales guide you toward a destiny filled with limitless possibilities. Roll for initiative, because your adventure begins now.
Do 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 do.
Do 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 do.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Is that copyrighted? Can we even?
I don't know.
I have no idea. Anyway, welcome everyone back to another fantastic episode of Legends, Loot, and Lore. Today, I am here in the studio, aka the dining room, with Fable.
Hello.
Hello, Fable. And my lovely wife, Catherine.
Hello.
Otherwise known as Dal Solace and Zanros Bemblebomble.
Hi there.
Soon to be of the Bemblebomble B&B.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very exciting. So today is a free-for-all. We're just going to talk about the... Yes, Fable?
We're trying out some dishes for the Bemblebomble B&B.
Yes, this is... That's a great idea. So we are cooking some items from the official D&D cookbooks. We are cooking the dragon salmon from Hero's Feast, and we're doing the Kender loaf from Flavors of the Multiverse, which is the newer one that just came out, Hero's Feast Part 2 cookbook. So we've made the salmon. So we're gonna try that first and see how it is. The salmon itself really is just you cook the salmon in a pan, and it's not very complicated. Really, the special part of this is the sauce, which is really just shallots and a kind of wine and chicken broth reduction. So we're gonna try that first. This is, and then after we get through all that, we're also going to discuss the previous episode of actual play. So we're going to talk about, kind of catch up with Zanros and Dal and see how things went in their first session, and maybe preview a little bit of what's to come, and we'll see what else happens this episode. So welcome again, everybody. We're happy to have you. And so let's talk a little bit about, so Catherine, this was really your first official, you've done some one shots and things like that, but this is really, you DM'd Curse of Strahd.
Right.
Unknowingly that it was extremely difficult.
Yes.
And so you DM'd Curse of Strahd, but this is really your first official campaign, your first real character that's living kind of outside of a one shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and Fable, Dal Solace, your character. So you've been playing D&D for how many years now?
3.
3 years.
Would it be?
Has it been 3 years?
2.5.
Something like that.
Freshman year.
Okay, so like two and a half years. And this is really your first
book campaign.
Right, like by the rules.
Well, we started following the rules.
You started following the rules.
But in the beginning, we all had no clue what we were doing, so it was a free-for-all.
Right.
And we did not have enough money for the books, so it's been entirely homebrew.
That's excellent. So this is both of your first times kind of in a traditional D&D official campaign, which is Fandelver and Below the Shattered Obelisk. And you started the adventure by, oh, hi, Mulder. Mulder is joining the podcast. He's one of the downstairs cats.
He's a brave boy.
He is a very brave boy.
Very brave. He came up. He's letting me pet him.
Wow.
Oh, here he comes. Hello.
So we started the adventure. Everybody kind of the typical, I just had you all meet at the tavern, which I called the Neverwinter Inn. I need to come up with a more clever name. But the Bemblebomble B&B will be where these recipes will hopefully reside.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So what was your kind of first feelings walking into the tavern?
I was just trying to figure out how it was all going to come together,
Uh-huh.
right? Because I came in first and then just kind of sat not in a corner because Dal was in the corner, but sat down at a table by myself.
Right.
So I was kind of just watching it unfold and waiting for my opportunity to jump in a way that seemed natural.
Right. And I think we found a really good. It was a very organic, easy way to chime in when you heard it was the talk of money, and you're like, wait a second,
I need money.
I need some money. So that was good. I like that. And what about you, Fable?
I was just
Entering the tavern.
trying to figure out how to introduce myself
Mm-hmm.
without having like a nervous breakdown.
Well, that's good. You did. I think you did very well.
Thank you.
I think it went very well.
I would agree.
Excellent. So you were both sitting at tables. So we're still in the process of making the Kender loaf. So we're stirring that up. So I don't want this to get any colder. So let's dig in.
Yeah.
So let's dig into the dragon salmon and let's see what this is like. While you two start eating, I'm going to go over the recipe with everybody. So in the book they've got some.
It's really good.
It's really good.
Is it really?
Yeah.
See, there you
Wow.
go.
I steal this recipe for dinner.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really simple.
This is good.
It was super simple to make. So there's always a little kind of backstory to these recipes. So Onder is the breadbasket of Eberron's Corvair, and the Onder River is famous for the seafood that half-elven anglers bring back to the markets of Fairhaven. Their traditional preparation of the enormous salmon that spawn in the river, like much else in Onder, relies heavily on sauces. So the sauce is a butter and dark wine reduction. Really, it's a very simple recipe. I mean, the salmon you just cook in a pan. They ask for 2 tablespoons of oil, which I feel like is a lot. So I used a little bit less than that. The less oil for me, the better. It's a nonstick pan, so you really don't need that much oil to cook it. It just helps get a nice crispy skin on the salmon. So you need some oil, but not a ton.
They also didn't specify olive oil in there anywhere.
They didn't
but that's
specify
what we
olive
used.
oil. They ask
said
for a
neutral.
neutral tasting oil, which is vegetable canola, safflower, or grapeseed. I'm just a fan of olive oil, so that's what I used. Really, again, the sauce is the star of the show. It's just one shallot, some fresh thyme. We used a red Zinfandel, the gnarly tree?
Yeah.
The gnarly tree wine is what we used. Low sodium chicken broth and some chives for garnish, which I didn't put on there.
Should we grab the chives?
So I'm going to take my first bite of this. Let's see how it is with the shallots.
Very good.
Gotta get some. Ooh, that is good. You don't need to hear me chewing on air. My goodness. All right, so let's start. So refresh my memory. What happened in the tavern?
So Iquium got the letter from the half-orc bartender, right? That came from Gundren.
My shepherd's pie was stolen and my horns were observed. Weird comments about the horns.
Iquium really liked your horns.
Yeah.
Can we just say that Iquium's a real weird dude while James isn't here to defend himself?
Yes.
Wow. he's an interesting character. So Iquium, so Iquium is a little
He's odd.
idiosyncratic,
Sure.
if you want to call it that.
I mean, you can, certainly.
He has a strange fascination with Dal's horns. Very strange fascination. Well, in his defense, you don't see many tieflings.
Okay.
They're not
This
very.
is true.
They're an uncommon race. So to be fair, he is probably not come into contact with many tieflings. And at least he may have seen them, but maybe never even had the chance to interact with them one-on-one. So this being his first encounter with an actual encounter with the tiefling, he's got questions.
I feel like it would be walking up to a human and going, "Hey, I like your ears. Do you have to shine your ears?"
Like that inmate. You know what I mean?
Well, if you're going to talk about inmates, you need to explain.
Okay. So the other morning, I was scrolling through Instagram when I received a suggestion from the Idaho Board of Corrections. And there's an entire Instagram account. Hold on, because I know everyone will want to follow it. Let me see what the name of it is again. It is... I just pulled a Joe Fatoni doot.
You were doing?
I was humming,
You were humming.
which is like Joe Fatoni doot adjacent. Okay, so it is called Idaho Inmate Pen Pal, and it is just short reels of inmates who want, sure, we'll say pen pals. We don't want to say prison girlfriends, I guess.
No.
Some of them are hashtag bi pride though.
That's true. And some of them are gay and looking for men. I shouldn't generalize. The fun part and what Fable and I enjoyed doing last night was trying to figure out what their offenses were before looking at their offenses.
I'm scarily accurate at
Yeah, Fable was really good. Fable figured out the guy who committed murder. He seemed pretty cool until you think about the fact that he murdered someone.
You thought that one guy was nice, and then he was assault and arson?
Was he assault and arson?
It was assault and arson.
They all come across as nice, which is...
Not all of them.
They all come across as trying to be friendly,
Yeah.
but they're not necessarily good guys. But anyway, that is what we were talking about.
Yes. I wouldn't judge killers. Because if I recall correctly, well, did either of you kill one of the goblins? I know Callie.
I didn't.
Callie. Oh, I see a hand. Yes.
I did kill one.
You did kill a goblin.
Did you know that the guys on the Idaho State Pen Pal who are murderers murdered actual human people?
Yeah. They have a weird fascination with feet. That was brought up so many times. You know what I'm talking about. How many videos were there? 5 or 6?
Yeah.
It was odd.
The inmates have a thing for feet?
Yes.
Interesting.
It's weird. Oh,
I would send them like pictures of hobbit feet.
oh.
Check these out. Check out these hairy appendages.
Hope is also eating lunch with us.
Hope is joining us. How nice.
Everyone's here today.
Wow. All right, so you all eventually met up, joined forces in the tavern. Mm-hmm. And then you headed out the next day?
Yes.
Jinx.
So tell us what was your night like, before your big adventure? So has Zanros ever really left Neverwinter before?
No, but members of her family have,
Mm-hmm.
so she knows kind of what to expect as she goes out in the world. And she's also, at least as I'm trying to play her, very confident that she is... I don't know. She's confident of her place in the world.
Zanros is confident in her place in the world, but has never explored outside.
Right. She's never been
Outside
far
of
from
Neverwinter.
home.
Okay.
But that kind of fuels her desire to not only kind of forge out on her own, but also to do something independent of her family. I feel like Zanros is kind of me when I went to college. Wanted to get as far away from my family as possible and figure myself out. And that's kind of where she is because she's relatively young for a rock gnome.
Right.
What is she, 55?
55, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. Which, in the grand scheme of things, is probably her early 20s in human years. So,
Right.
Yeah, she's at the point in her life where she's trying to figure stuff out.
Right. That makes complete sense. I'll be curious to see how that plays out in the story to come. Is she overconfident?
I think so. I mean,
Okay.
I think that's why she comes across as a little aggressive with like the goblins. But I think part of that too is that she's already, I think, starting to become very fond of her traveling companions. She finally feels like she fits in somewhere that's not just her family.
I say.
So she's going to be exceedingly loyal toward them. And anybody that threatens them is almost immediately going to be her enemy.
Right. Yeah, you've been very brusque with the people that you've come.
Yeah.
Come
That I think
in.
is partially just her personality.
Yeah. Because I remember the bartender, the half-orc, you were very...
He was ignoring me.
He couldn't see you.
Has he never served a person who was not bar height before?
But he's busy. He's busy tending bar. There's a lot of things going on.
It's just talking about the maturity of gnomes, so she would be an adult because they mature at the same rate as humans, but like college, figuring shit out phase.
Yeah, I mean, definitely adult, but
Young adult.
young adult.
I mean, you're an adult when you go to college.
You absolutely are. You are an adult when you go to college, but yeah, you're definitely still in that. Maybe you've just graduated college on your own for the first time, figuring life out.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a TV show coming about this.
A young gnome striking out into the world on
Yes.
her own with her tiefling and wizard friend.
Yes.
And don't forget Callie.
Never forget Callie. Callie the Destroyer.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely wanted to play her brusque. She's not used to being around a lot of people other than her family. So I don't think she's ever really had to... Well, I guess, people would visit the family because they're nobles. But other than having to be very, I think, appropriate in that kind of setting, she hasn't really been around people who might just be her friends.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, this is really like probably the first people that are befriending her, not because of her nobility.
Right.
They don't really, I mean, because we said Iquium is probably, because of the amount of time that he's spent in Neverwinter, is probably familiar with the Bemblebombles, but doesn't really care about your status or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. So it's really just being friends with you for who you are. And I think that's really nice.
Yeah, and I don't think she's ever had that before, so that's something she's going to have to adjust to.
Yes. Yeah, I really find this interesting I think that there's a lot of depth to Zanros' story.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do, is to give her personality beyond just, oh, she comes from nobility and she's had everything handed to her, but she actually wants to do something for herself. She doesn't, I think she'd almost be bored just staying at home and living that life with her family. She wants to do something outside of her comfort zone, outside of what she knows.
Right. So speaking of coming out of their comfort zones, Fable, your character Dal Solace is mostly a hermit in the Neverwinter Wood.
Yes.
Isn't a big fan of coming to the big city. Only comes there for necessities. Yeah. So what is driving your character? I think we talked about this a little bit, but let's dive into this deeper. What's really driving your character to join up with others, which I think is very against, very like opposite of your personality?
Yeah, this is not something they would typically do, but I think they saw that this would benefit them and decided they might as well just do it.
So what is so important in Fandalen that you're willing to come out of your hermitage and join up with others, put yourself at risk? What's so important?
Her deity. That's the main reason why she's doing this. She wants to find out either what the relic is or what the text is. There's something in Fandolin that Sister
Gariel. Sister Gariel.
That she heard about in Neverwinter, and she just has to go and check it out. She has to see what it is.
Interesting. This must be pretty important. What are you hoping to find?
Hoping to find a certain text or artifact, but more so a text on Selune. There we go. I think I finally pronounced it right.
Excellent. So your deity, you're hoping to find a text. What are you hoping that this text is going to reveal something about the deity, reveal something about your purpose? Like what is this going to unlock? Do you know? Can you?
She's hoping to get something back.
Get something back. Ooh. Are we allowed to know that, or is that a deep secret of Dal's?
I guess you'll have to find out later.
Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. Now my curiosity is piqued. All right, so Dal is on the hunt for a sacred text about Saluna. Did I say that right?
Saluna or Salune?
Salune, the deity. This is the moon goddess?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so there's an ancient text about the moon goddess that you're hoping is going to reveal something to you.
No, they're hoping to get it back.
They're hoping to get it back. So this is something that belonged to Dal?
Yeah.
Oh, and it was taken.
Mm-hmm.
By whom?
You'll have to find out later.
Man, I really want to know. I would really like to know what it could be that has been taken from you.
Let's just say there's a reason she's a hermit and doesn't like other people.
Was Dal at some point not a hermit?
No, they were not a hermit at all.
So the taking of this text is what caused Dal to become a hermit?
Yes.
Ooh.
They were betrayed by someone close to them. And
betrayal.
yes.
Ooh, I like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is good stuff.
They were always socially awkward, but they were never a hermit.
Until they were betrayed by someone close to them. Now they've kind of shut themselves off from the world. Wow.
If you don't have friends, they can't hurt you. So this is very out of her comfort zone.
I see. Yeah. So how are you feeling about your traveling partners? So we've got Zanros, who is kind of feeling like this is now kind of, I mean, it's still early, but potentially a found family that doesn't care about her status or her upbringing or anything like that. So Zanros has a very positive feeling about Dal and Iquium and Callie. So what is your character's feeling about your traveling party? Do you trust them? Are you opening up to them at all? Like what's going on?
I think it'll take a while for her to completely trust them.
Mm-hmm.
And she hasn't opened up much, but she's becoming friends with Bemblebomble.
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 The Bemblebomble B&B.
That's fun to say.
For BBEGs.
And BBGs.
And BBGs. Yes.
I think they're starting to become friends with Bemblebomble because they're both incredibly socially awkward, just in different ways. And it's like a kindred spirit thing. And they're still mildly weirded out by Iquium. But you can see he's not really, he's harmless.
I get the weirded out part. I mean, because it was just, again, for someone who's a hermit, to have someone really like be so fascinated by your horns. So let's talk about your horns. So do you polish your horns? Like what is the care and upkeep for Dal's horns?
I'm polishing them. I was kind of trying to come up with this on the fly.
Right. Okay, so Dal polishes her horns. Interesting. Keep them shiny. Mm-hmm. Nice. What do you use to polish them?
I don't know. I don't polish things. Give me a bit to Google search, and I will get back to you.
Like a wax?
Probably a wax.
Maybe like a beeswax?
I was going to say beeswax if they're in the middle of nowhere.
Right, yeah.
That's probably the most readily available.
That makes sense. Interesting. Very nice. Interesting. So there's a lot going on with your characters. This is fascinating. So what did you think of your first encounter? So you came upon these two horses that were just kind of in the middle of the road. Clearly there had been an altercation. Something had happened. There was just scraps and things strewn around on the path. So what was your first reaction to coming up on this scene?
I feel like I just wanted to just keep going, right? Because my end goal is get the money, open the B&B. So
Right.
I don't want to have to deal with nonsense. Of course, now I see it as a recruitment opportunity, so.
Right. Interesting. Okay, so you're very single-minded. Get to Fandalen, get the gold.
Yep.
But it's only 10 gold pieces.
It's a start.
Anything's a start.
You were only promised 10 gold pieces to...
Right. But I mean, so am I allowed to say what I'm inheriting that gets us to the B&B?
You can. I think that's known to you. So
Knownst to me.
Knownst.
Unbeknownst to you, but knownst to me.
Correct. Unbeknownst to our listeners, but knownst to you.
What is it? The Tresender?
Our bread.
Oh, yes, the bread is ready.
The bread is ready.
Maybe. Let me go check it.
Let's go check that out. So while you're going to...
Pull the knee.
I know, really.
Not really. I mean, I didn't get to them on.
Man, it was one time. The shallots hypnotized me.
Right? Those tasty shallots.
Those tasty shallots.
I'm excited about this Kender loaf.
Yes. Well, it's a labor of love, so.
My God, that was... So if any of you are looking, and this recipe is from the Flavors of the Multiverse cookbook. Kender loaf is not a simple recipe. It kind of like looks simple.
It's a lie.
But when you get into the directions, it is complicated and there are a lot of steps, and I'm really hoping there's a big payoff.
We learned the hard lesson, which is read the recipe before we're like, oh, that looks good. Let's choose an easy recipe. It was not.
Okay, the toothpick is coming out clean, so.
Ooh.
All right, so we're going to let that cool. But do we want to talk about this while we're talking about this?
Well, let's finish our conversation about what's sending Zanros to Van Dalen.
So what is it, the Tresender Manor? Is that what I'm...
Yes.
The family has inherited the Tresender Manor, and that's where she's headed. So she's already got the spot, right?
Right.
And let's assume she's saved some money, but any opportunity she sees to get more money.
Right.
And ultimately,
if it's on the way, why pass it up?
Yeah. I think that's really it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and now she's realizing, hey, recruitment opportunity.
Yeah, so this is a recruitment opportunity now for Zanros to get people to work for her in the B&B, because obviously, I mean, this is kind of where you want to settle.
Yeah, because she's going to stay there and run the inn. And I mean, I think maybe as she goes along and her personality develops, I think she'll start to realize that she's going to have to soften up a bit, because if she doesn't, how is she ever going to run a B&B that people are actually going to want to stay at?
Correct.
B&B where she employs, just all the guys that she came up against who wanted to initially fight her.
That's the way to do it.
Well, that's what they were employed to do. It's not like they wanted to. It's not like their initial reaction was like, yeah, we're going to fight people. Right. They were getting paid to rob and plunder people that were traveling on this path.
Right. And now they'll be getting paid to design their own uniforms and perform at the B&B.
Customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So what job do you think the goblins would have in the B&B? What would be their role?
Well, I mean, I think there's a little bit of everything, right?
Okay.
You're going to need somebody to do housekeeping. You're going to need people to cook. You're going to need entertainment. You're going to need front desk. You're going to need people to carry luggage, like a bellhop situation.
Right.
You're going to need a caretaker. And, there's going to be multiple shifts.
Sure. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
And I feel like the Tresender Manor is large enough that I can both house them on site and keep enough guest rooms to be profitable.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, where are they going to live? Like, I mean, do you think the manor is big enough to support to house all the employees?
I think so. I mean,
Plus
not like
guests?
they're all going to have their own rooms. They can double up. It'll be like a cruise ship.
Okay. I think that would work.
I feel like they're still going to have nicer accommodations than living in a cave on a cot.
Right.
So it's still a step up for them.
It certainly is. I would think so. So I'm just curious, what kind of jobs they're going to have when you actually get the B&B up and running.
I think we need to recognize the unique talents of each of these. Well, I mean, and they probably won't all be goblins by the time we get there.
All right. So the likelihood that you will convince others to be in your employ,
Yeah.
There's a high likelihood that that's going to happen.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll just be goblins, because the whole idea for Zanros is that she wants everyone to be welcome at the B&B, so everyone is also welcome to be employed at the B&B.
Now, remember, you're coming into Fandalen, so or Fandolin, again, whatever, however you like to pronounce it.
Yep.
So there are a lot of people already living here. So you could certainly explore the town and try to convince other people to work for you.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the opportunity for partnerships with local vendors so that I can have, locally sourced food and drink.
Ooh, a little farm to table kind of concept.
Exactly.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like where you're going with this.
Thank you.
Locally sourced produce and
Meats.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Herbs.
Mm-hmm.
Herbs. So I don't know if we discussed this, but like, I know you're taking possession of the Tresender Manor.
Mm-hmm.
However, it hasn't been occupied by the Bemblebomble family for some time.
Right.
So there may be squatters and other people in the manor currently that you might have to dispatch.
Well, it's a good thing I got these friends now, then, isn't it? Because by the time we get there, I think we're going to be pretty bonded.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that they'll be happy to help me.
I think you're right. So what's gonna happen? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I think I will happily be running my B&B. I feel that Zanros will be an excellent boss when she has the opportunity to be, because at the core of it, yes, she's brusque and she's definitely got a little bit of a chip on her shoulder, but ultimately she's a kind person. I mean, she doesn't want the dog to be shot. I think she loves animals, and I think she will come to understand that people are also there to be her friends. But it's going to take her a little time to figure that out.
Interesting.
And by people, I mean all creatures, whoever shows up.
Right.
But yeah, I think in 5 years, hopefully she's successfully running the B&B. And, it's a bit of a destination for people.
I think so. I mean, who's going to be doing your marketing? Who's going to market the Bemblebomble B&B?
Iquium in all the taverns he frequents.
That's a good idea.
Absolutely. I mean, that makes sense. But are you going to be serving alcohol? Are you going to compete with the local taverns, or? Well,
I wonder if we can't partner with the local taverns.
Okay, that's interesting.
There's got to be a way to
maybe a local brewery. Maybe you could have local microbrews.
Sure. And maybe we work with a local vineyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of opportunity.
There really is a lot of opportunity here. And I think Fandolin is a great place to do that. Again, it's on the verge of, it's kind of a frontier town at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think something like the Bemblebomble B&B could really put it on the map. I mean, technically it's already on the map, but I mean.
So, we could take this town from Walnut Grove to Mankato?
Absolutely.
That's where all my little house on the prairie stands.
Ooh, yeah.
Fable is laughing at me.
You know Little House on the Prairie.
We were just talking about it last
Yeah.
night.
I know, exactly. Quick at Doc Baker.
Yeah, well, where was he when Ma needed him when she had that leg infection and everybody else was gone?
I don't know.
Nowhere. She had to slice it open herself.
I know. Is that where Albert got his morphine addiction from? Was he stealing it from Doc Baker?
I feel like I missed some seasons.
That was a very special episode of Little House on the Prairie.
Teenage Catherine had the biggest crush on him.
Oh,
Really?
Albert Ingalls? Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
He was so cute.
Yeah. He was a cutie.
Yeah.
He's no Manly.
Yeah. Dean Baker was pretty good looking too, yeah.
Oh, man.
I liked him better as Buffy's dad, though.
Yeah. All right. So enough of the Little House on the Prairie tangent.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about our next recipe.
Yes.
Coming from the Flavors of the Multiverse cookbook. Catherine, do tell, what do we have here?
It's Kender Loaf. So, has also been called Raston pastry. It's a filling, raisin-specked dessert to round out a hearty meal. However, in its earlier incarnations, Raston pastry dated back to the First Dragon War, when not even scraps of stale bread could be discarded. Crusts of stale bread were habitually tossed into a basin and later mashed to create livestock feed, but the Kender saw an opportunity. Stale bread was separated from other half-finished morsels, soaked in water, sugared, spiced, and dried, then served up as what was known as Kender Loaf, the pre-owned bread. So popular was Kender Loaf that the process was refined with eggs, cream, and spices, evolving into the bread puddings we know today.
I just tried it. It's very good.
It's delightful. So for this, we used a pound of Italian bread, half a cup of granulated sugar. They gave you the option for lemon or orange zest. We went with orange, 2 teaspoons. Light brown sugar, cinnamon, half and half, 2 eggs and 2 egg yolks. Vanilla extract, kosher salt, a cup of golden raisins, and then 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. A little, as you already talked about, labor intensive on this one, more so than we thought. We kind of thought, since it was using an already baked loaf of bread, that it would be a little bit easier, but it basically has a number of parts to the
stages.
Recipe. Yeah. So the first is ripping out the middle of the bread and tearing the pieces up, and then baking them to toast them, basically, because that's sort of stale texture.
Mm-hmm.
And then you soak the toasted bread pieces in the half and half egg yolk, cinnamon, sugar mixture.
Yum.
And then you put that in the bread shell, which has the butter and the brown sugar, and then bake it for, it was 35 to 40 minutes.
I gotta say, sorry, my mouth has been full eating the Kender Loaf. This is delicious.
Yeah, it came out really nice.
I think orange zest was the way to go.
I agree, because you really taste the orange zest.
Yeah.
That was Fable's call.
Excellent call, Fable, on using the orange zest. I completely, wholeheartedly agree with that decision. It's absolutely delicious. Mm-hmm. I could eat many pieces of this for sure.
I mean, I'm definitely on piece number 2.
Are you now?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So let's ask the question: Is this going to? This is basically a dessert.
Mm-hmm.
So, would this dessert make it on the Bemblebomble B&B menu?
Yeah,
What?
I think so.
I think so.
I mean, because here's the thing, though. I mean, B&B. I mean, it's bed and breakfast, so you're not really. Are you really serving dinner, or
Absolutely.
would you?
I think she'd be serving all of the meals.
Okay.
Because you're going to bed, and then you're waking up and having breakfast.
And having breakfast.
And I mean, would I miss the opportunity to make Bemblebomble bread pudding?
And more money. What?
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. I think this is a great menu item. And you can make so much of it at a given time. So I think that's a.
I think you mean the goblins, Ken.
I don't know if I want goblins making my dessert. Like I don't know if I want their. I mean, I guess they'd wash their hands. Are they known to be cleanly?
Are you questioning the cleanliness of the Bemblebomble B&B?
When was the health inspector through here last time?
I mean, I haven't opened it yet, so.
Oh, I see.
But I'm saying there will be cleanliness standards and they will be adhered to.
We don't need Gordon Ramsay and Hotel Hell coming through here.
Good thing it got canceled so many years ago.
Fair point. Excellent. So this recipe is a winner.
I think it's a winner.
I think it's a winner. I think this is a great dessert, and definitely the dragon salmon.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I really like it.
Fable almost murdered themselves for it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you almost died. You almost died in pursuit of more shallots.
Worth it.
Totally worth it. Hey, but here's the thing: you could really make that sauce and put it on multiple things. It doesn't have to. It doesn't necessarily have to be salmon.
It's good with salmon, though.
It's very good with salmon. I mean, I'm a big salmon fan, so that's convenient. But I could see that even on chicken.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think it would go nicely with chicken as well. I'm not sure other fish types, but
I feel like you could put that over steak too.
Yeah.
Would you really put that on a steak?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking
interesting. I mean, I guess like a red wine reduction would be good. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'd try that. The only criticism I have, and it's not on the recipe itself. I may not reduce it as much the next time. Make it a little saucier.
I agree.
Because I think it ended up by the time I took it off the heat, there was almost no liquid left. Like I feel like the shallots really like absorbed whatever wine and chicken broth was there. So I'd probably reduce it because I think they said let it simmer from 6 to 8 minutes, and I did it more on the 8-minute side. So I'd probably do it maybe like 5 to 6 minutes.
We also probably had more shallots than they were expecting.
Yeah.
Because we got a really big shallot.
We
like shallots.
Yes. Yeah, that was a really big shallot. So yeah. So there's a few things I'd do differently next time. I definitely let it be a little saucier. This was more just the shallots absorbing the liquid itself. So that would be the one thing I would do differently, but I would definitely do that again. It was very uncomplicated.
Very good.
And it was easy preparation. I mean, it's just the shallots, butter, wine, chicken broth, and thyme.
Mm-hmm. And then chives.
And then chives to top it.
Yep.
Yeah. Because all you do is you put the first tablespoon of butter in, and you saute the shallots and the thyme, and once those get kind of cooked down, then you pour in the wine and the chicken broth, and just let it simmer to reduce.
Yep.
And then right at the end, you put in the other tablespoon of butter just to kind of make it a little more creamy. And that was it. It was very simple. So that's a great simple recipe to do. That one is in Hero's Feast.
And the Kender loaf, I mean, it's not that complex. It just takes a little more time than what we were expecting.
The steps are easy. It's just the waiting in between is what gets you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Andrew's chewing. and I asked him not to talk while he's chewing because I have misophonia, and I'm sure there are people listening to the podcast who also have misophonia, and I don't want them to stop listening to the podcast because of the chewing. Because that actually happened to me with one.
That happened to me with breathing.
Oh, yeah.
It drives me insane.
I was listening to a podcast and he was interviewing one person and she kept drinking. So it was just constant like gulping and I couldn't do it. I had to stop listening.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have thrown up. I would have had to stop.
See? People are very sensitive to noises.
Chewing noises and breathing noises put me in a rage. I get mad.
Chewing noises are really cute when they're animals, though. Just not people.
Yes, right? I love those videos.
Is so cute.
My mom, she's like, oh, so you don't like eating sounds, but you like the animals? I'm like, it's different. They're
My
cute.
mother and I talk about that all the time. That it's adorable when animals chew, but not when humans do.
Yes.
I sent her a video of bunnies chewing the other day. It was so cute. Aw. But yeah, nobody wants to listen to people.
Mm-mm.
No, nobody wants to listen to people, especially me. But this was delicious. So thank you for Fable and Catherine making this, because you're the ones that really did.
Did you forget my name?
What?
You paused before you said Catherine, and I said, did you forget my name?
No, so here's what happened with that. So
thank you, computer wife.
I'm not a real person.
So I said Fable, and then I was about to say your name, and I said, wait, did I say Dal or Fable? So I had to pause to remember that I called you Fable and not Dal, so I knew not to call you Zanros and call you Catherine. So that was that brief pause. My brain had to stop, rewind, play back the what I just said, and then move forward again. So
strike that, reverse it.
Exactly. So that was the brain pause there. You actually heard my brain functioning.
So you're the computer wife because you restarted.
I did. I'm an AI chatbot. Mm-hmm. Yes. Anyway, so what else? What other? So yes, we already recorded the next episode of the actual play. However, what are you excited about going into that? So Callie killed 2 of the goblins, made them little chew toys, and then Dal, you killed the 3rd.
I killed the one that shot Callie.
You killed the one that I thought Vincent shot Callie. It wasn't? You shot the one that you killed the one that shot Callie?
Wasn't it another one that shot Callie? Didn't 2 people shoot Callie?
I think so. I think it was Vincent and one other.
And Vincent was just the one that happened to be
Got it.
last.
Got it. Okay, so you killed the other one that had taken the shot at Callie. So that's good. So I think it was funny because James and I were talking about this. So he was going to have Callie attack and kill the remaining goblin. I was saying,
Yes.
James and I were having a conversation.
Uh-huh.
He was initially sending Callie. So we talked about the movement speed of the goblin, which is 30 feet.
Right.
Callie's movement speed is 50 feet.
Right.
So he had Callie chase down the other goblin.
Right.
And his intention was to kill
Right.
the other goblin.
Okay.
But I think he saw the look in my eyes from across the table.
Yeah.
And was like, please don't do that. And he decided to spare the life of the goblin and just, I think he said fetch.
Yeah, he said fetch.
Yes.
Fetch me their femur.
That's your line, yes.
No, but he used it.
Did he say fetch me their femur? I thought he just said fetch.
I swear to God, he said fetch me their femur. Maybe I'm delirious.
Maybe. I don't know. But either way, he had Callie fetch the remaining goblin, who I am now, based on the conversations, I think I am going to name him. We talked about this earlier. I'm going to name him Chadwick Kyle St. Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
But his chosen name was Vincent.
Yes, because that's his last name. But his first name is Chadwick. His middle name is Kyle, and then the last name is St. Vincent. But goblins typically go by their last name, and he is employee number 1 of the Bemblebomble B&B. What his actual position is, we don't know yet.
But he will be our first employee of the month.
Here's my thought. I have a thought for Chadwick Kyle St. Vincent Millay. Because he's going to be your spokesperson. So I think he should be in HR as a recruiter. He is the one recruiting others. So I think he's your HR/recruiter for the Bemblebomble B&B.
Sure, that's fine.
I mean, you need HR.
Do B&Bs usually have HR?
They probably outsource, but I mean,
with Bemblebumble's blunt attitude, you might need HR.
I don't know what you mean.
you need HR.
Zanros is charming. Charming.
Zanros will be called to HR many times.
Yeah, well, let's just remember who owns the B&B.
You can't say that, Zanros.
I can fire whoever I want. I own this place.
I'm going to fire HR.
I can fire HR.
That'll go well.
If I want to fire HR, why did I even hire HR?
You're going to have so many lawsuits. Goblins are a litigious sort.
Are they?
Yes.
I feel like one of the party members made you get HR.
Are they going to unionize?
They might unionize.
Yeah, they might.
That's right.
That's all right. I support the union. The
Exactly.
Goblin, the B&B worker union. Local 666.
Local 666 of the Goblin Union.
The Goblin Union.
Goblin Union of Fandalen.
Kyle, Chadwick, Carl, Vincent.
Chadwick Kyle St. Vincent Millay.
He'll be the spokesperson. The spokesgoblin.
He is. He's the spokesgoblin because he's from HR. So he knows the laws, the rules and regulations that you should be abiding by that you're not. Mm-hmm. But you claim it's going to be a very clean kitchen. So
absolutely.
So
Clean
that you've got.
Mean not rude.
Yeah.
No, of course. But what I'm saying is just, I mean, you're not going to get dinged for having a dirty kitchen.
Right.
So you got that going for you.
Can we just talk about how hard Fable laughed when I did the Zanros voice the first time?
I believe there was covering of the mouth to avoid laughing out loud.
Yep.
It's funny.
It was funny.
Let me tell you, I had a sore throat the whole next day because we did 5 hours.
Wow.
Child's play.
Do you do a voice the whole time? Exactly.
I laugh a lot.
Not the same. All right, so let's do this. Let's wrap things up. Let's give our listeners a little preview of what's coming in the next episode. So what happened right at the end of last week's episode?
So we ended with Vincent, right? We finished that battle.
Yes.
And then we were going to keep moving along because now we've got the horses and the wagon. So we know that Gundren and the guy that Gundren's traveling with are somewhere.
Sildar. Well, because remember, you were standing on the back of the horse and you noticed something in the saddlebag of the horse and you pulled out a journal that was the property of, it was marked as the property of Gundren Rockseeker. So you knew these were Gundren's horses. Mm-hmm. And I believe when you questioned Vincent, he told you that they were brought back to the cave. Mm-hmm. And then you're trying to figure out how many goblins were at the cave.
Right.
And I think that's where you were on to the cave to try to rescue Gundren and Sildar and recruit more goblins and whoever else to be employees of the Bemblebomble B&B.
Right.
So that's where we left off, and that's where you're headed to next. And there's all sorts of adventure and mayhem there because I think Vincent told you who he was working for.
Yeah, the spider.
No, well, Clarg.
Oh.
Clarg the bugbear.
Yes.
Clarg is the one
Griswold.
is the one Clarg Griswold is the one overseeing the goblins,
right?
And their attacks on people at the trail.
Mm-hmm.
So Clarg is there, and I think you also learned that Clarg was working for King
Dave
Grohl.
Yeah.
I don't know if the spider came up yet.
I think it did.
Like he did.
Did the spider come up? So, because the spider is the one that.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
The spider is the one that had them kidnap Gundren Rockseeker.
Right.
The spider is looking for something that Gundren knows or has or something like that.
Got it.
So that's the thread that you are following at the moment. So that will be the early part of February. Will be that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we're trying to do the first Monday of the month will be the actual play. So hopefully that one we've already recorded. So I just have to edit it. And then we'll find out what happens in the cave.
The Cave of Wonders.
The Cragmaw hideout.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. The Cragmaw goblins. Meow to you too.
Dee Dee has arrived. Is that Dee Dee?
Dee Dee left. Hope arrived.
Oh, Hope
they were
arrived.
greeting each other.
I see. Ships in the night.
Yes.
Cats in the hall.
That's right. So stay tuned for next week's episode, which I have no idea what we're doing. So that'll be an adventure.
Something.
We'll be talking about something D&D related.
TBD, D&D.
Nice.
Bemblebomble B&B.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe we can talk about, because the one thing that we've been wanting to talk about is D&D in pop culture.
Yeah, absolutely. We could do that.
So we could definitely bring that up next week and talk about kind of how D&D has become more accessible, and the awareness of D&D has really risen, especially with things like Big Bang Theory, Stranger Things, for sure, has really kind of heightened the awareness of D&D.
I mean, you'd be amazed how many shows, and this is kind of why I wanted to talk about this, how many shows just kind of casually incorporate D&D. There's an episode of Buffy. There's multiple episodes of Community. There's all sorts of shows that have incorporated D&D, but I think recently the biggest one is Stranger Things, as I'm looking at your Eddie.
My Eddie Funko.
Table Funko.
We had a D&D club at school, and we started with like 4 or 5 members, and after Stranger Things we had like over 20.
Yeah. Stranger Things was a really big catalyst for it of late. Yeah, that
kind of made it cool again.
We can do that.
Excellent. So that's what you have to hopefully look forward to next week. Thank you everyone for listening in. Remember, you can check out these recipes in the Heroes Feast and the Flavors of the Multiverse cookbooks that are available for sale. I will put links to them in the show notes, so you can check them out if you want to purchase them through Amazon. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Legends, Loot, and Lore. We hope you've enjoyed immersing yourself in the realms of legends, uncovering hidden loot, and delving into captivating lore. But the journey doesn't end here. For exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and access to our community, visit legendslootandlore.supercast.com. There you'll be able to support the podcast, where you can join our Discord server for lively discussions and subscriber-only content, and connect with fellow enthusiasts. Stay connected with us on Instagram and Facebook at Legends, Loot, and Lore to continue on the quest. By following our social media channels, you'll be the first to know about upcoming episodes, bonus content, and exciting announcements. If you've enjoyed your time with us, we kindly ask you to rate and subscribe to this podcast. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue producing captivating episodes and embarking on new quests. Thank you for being a part of our journey. We're thrilled to have you by our side as we unravel the legends, uncover the loot, and delve deeper into the lore. Until next time.